Hi there. I just wanted to cover off some things that I wasn't able to research and find on all the various reviews for the Sabre headlamp that's in the title here. So I've picked up the purple. I was feeling a little bit brave. Luckily, the shop that I went to down the road here had some on display, so I could kind of verify a few things before I pulled the trigger on it. Only owned it for a couple of minutes, but I'll keep this really short and quick, and just some things that I wasn't able to verify online. So I was looking here just at the back. Not a lot of reviews cover that. I was just thinking about replacing this strap. Mercifully, it doesn't have the one over the head because that's obviously a bit overkill. This is also quite thick, obviously. The usability of this sort of cable system that they have here seems fine. I was a little bit apprehensive about it. Part of the reason why I got the purple was that this strap is a little bit less glary and leery than the orange one that comes with the black variant. So just as a point of comparison, this is my previous head torch, which is the Black Diamond Revolt. Quite an old model, but had been a fantastic headlamp. So you just see here, let's put this aftermarket standard size strap in front of it, that I would probably say it's maybe another 15% on top. I did have a fleeting thought of perhaps replacing this rather large heavy-duty strap with something a little bit smaller. I think it would probably be fine. The intention was, well, this is not factory. This is not meant to be replaceable. It's all kind of molded in here. So the idea was to replicate this either with a slit in the middle, or perhaps a sort of 45-degree cut on the side, which, looking at this, I think that would work. If you get a little Dremel, or I don't think you'd want to chop it with pliers, but if you were to grind it away, just a very thin slice, then you could probably remove this. Is that a good idea? I think the elastic, without being too tight, would still have enough gripping power. This does not have any, as I've seen in other reviews, like a little strip of plastic or anything to keep it from slipping. Doesn't feel too heavy, and even with a smaller band, I think that'll be fine. So that was the first thing. The second thing was a little bit more detail on the operation of the actual lights itself. So knowing that this doesn't have a red light, which is, in my opinion, indispensable to camping and hiking, which is where I will be using this most, the obvious thought is if the floodlight could perhaps act as in that capacity. So this is on the lowest setting. I know these things don't really translate to video that well. And then if I was to put this on the red light, I guess there's no real... The brightness isn't really telling the whole story because your eyes are obviously a lot less susceptible to the red light, hence your ability to maintain your night vision through it. The lowest setting on the warm light, which this version has, which just the standard T1 does not, still looks quite bright. It's the afternoon here, and it's illuminating a reasonable amount. So I'd say that if you were waking up in the middle of the night in your tent and you wanted to go out to pee and you put this on just the lowest setting, I don't foresee it ruining your night vision too much. It's not super powerful, but it's going to be nothing like a red light. If you're hunched over your food against the campfire and you've got this, it's going to provide more than just a little bit of light. It'll be reasonably substantial. One thought I had was even just putting a little maybe red lens over this. For my use case anyway, the white light for the spotlight is completely fine, and if I'm neutering the floodlight with a red light that makes it permanently red, I think that'd be fine. I know on eBay you could probably get something, maybe some artistic filters for camera phones that are red, or any kind of filter that hopefully would be plastic that you could cut out, punch out a hole and put there. Otherwise, the other thing I was looking at was just the memory functions on this and just how the buttons operate. So I loathe strobe lights on headlamps. I'm sure if it was a survival situation it'd probably be useful, but the other 99,000 times it's just an annoyance. So this does not have a strobe, which I'm happy to say, and the idea is that a half a second press is on or off, and then cycling through is only a second. So the lights, the buttons at the top here, I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if it will focus. Does that work? Maybe too close. It is noted, and they obviously line up with the button on the right is the right spotlight, and the button on the left with a different symbol noting a more floodlight type of light is on the on the left, and the right for the spotlight. So the idea here is that you, it's even got little text here to say press for 3 seconds to lock. So that's a good reminder. If you press it for 1 second, I say half a second, and then you can kind of cycle through your modes, and then half a second will turn it off again. And the good thing is that it always starts on low, which is great. And even if this is medium, and then hold it and turn it off, and then turn it back on, it goes back to low. It doesn't start in medium again, which is also good. Just all within the vein of not blinding yourself, and being in control of the light, because that's a feature I really enjoyed with the Black Diamond, was that if you hold this down out of the box, it turns the red on, meaning that you don't need to cycle through any bright lights to get to the low power mode, which was really good. The last thing that I could really think about here would be that I noticed, and I don't think it's a big deal, in the R variant, not the DT, which this is, I saw online that some reviewers had mentioned that the battery that it comes with had a micro USB charge port on it, and some people had mentioned that it's great that this is obviously USB-C. The battery itself was micro USB, so if you're ever in a pinch and you only had a micro USB, you could still do that. This one here does not have any charge port at the top for some reason. Still Fenix branded and all that sort of stuff. But otherwise, I guess just covering off some things that now I have it in my hand. So this is very, very light. Taking the battery out, I think it's magnesium or something, I don't know, but it feels like an unfamiliar metal when you touch it. It almost feels like titanium or something like that. It's obviously not steel or stainless, is quite apparent. The fit and finish is excellent. Just the overall look of the device is excellent. This ratchet system does feel strong, but not too strong. I have heard that some people don't like this because it may get in the way when you're just sort of by the campfire, and it doesn't appear to be that bad. And I'm sure you could always modify that. I think I like that it is that, because I have definitely reached into my bag and needed light, and it had been inadvertently left on and drained the battery, so that's definitely a bit of a bummer, and I think this would go a long way with protecting that, in addition to obviously holding it down for 3 seconds to lock it as well. And the only thing I can comment is this frame that's holding the strap is actually plastic, and it doesn't look like it's replaceable. It appears that it has, I guess, two arms, let's call it. Let me just undo the battery cover. Perhaps with a little bit of bending, I guess the idea is that it's a separate, obviously, piece, and the cutout, the circle with the battery cover off, sort of fits over that. I don't know if they sell spares, but just thinking if I was to ever get brave and chop put a slight slit here to attempt to change the strap to something that's a little bit less colourful, then if that goes horribly wrong, then you could perhaps update it anyway. But otherwise, this is really good. A single quick press will tell you the battery level as well, and it does appear to charge reasonably quickly from the 100-watt charger I just had on at the moment. You can almost feel just a bit of residual heat from the battery charge as it's going through. But otherwise, I've got one now. This is the, I guess, newer version. I'd seen, it's probably the last thing I'll mention, is that I'd seen a little bit of discrepancy with some of the other reviews, whereas the Dash T, I believe it's white light for both of these, and that's the big difference. And this DT version, the floodlight is the warm light, so a little bit closer to the orange spectrum, and the spotlight is still pure white light. I'd seen some other reviews use those terms interchangeably, but definitely the floodlight is orange, and it's the lesser power of the two, and it's what you'd probably be using if you just wanted to illuminate something within close proximity. And then obviously the spotlight is bright white, and that's your long distance, long range one. Can't say much more about it. I haven't used it yet, but it looks pretty good. I'm pretty picky, and I'm feeling pretty good about this. So thanks for watching.